Hi, Rose Davidson here, and welcome to the podcast. This episode originally aired as a video on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/doesbiz, Mums in Business with Rose Davidson. Welcome, Deb. How are you? Welcome to the interview series. Before we get into it, I'll just introduce you to the group and tell them a little bit about you. So you are a qualified civil celebrant and you are professionally trained and legally authorised by Australian law to solemnise marriages anywhere in Australia and its territories. You are also able to conduct any type of non-legal ceremony such as baby namings, vow renewals and life celebrations as an alternative to a traditional funeral. You are a vibrant, fun-loving and young at heart person. You especially love anything vintage from the 20s to the 50s rock and roll, and have an extensive retro dress collection that you will happily wear on any occasion, and especially if it fits into someone's wedding. You are a film fanatic and a secret geek, and you grew up on a screen diet of Star Wars, Doctor Who, and all things sci-fi because of your dad. And I'd like to hear a little bit more about that, and loves the opportunity to let out your inner geek in wedding ceremonies. So welcome, and let's tell me why you became a marriage celebrant in the first place.
Why? Because I went to a friend's wedding and was completely fascinated by the whole process. So being English, I'd never been to an Australian wedding, and I didn't realise that you could actually do what you can do over here in England. You can't get married anywhere, anyhow, any place. You get married in the church or you get married in the registry office, and those are your only two options. So I was completely fascinated by the fact that my friend got married on the Buffalo at Glenelg on the top deck, and was just completely something different. And it just sparked my interest, really. So I went away and Googled how to become a marriage celebrant in Australia, and it just went from there, really.
Terrific. And so do you work elsewhere other than being a celebrant?
I do. I work part-time, and I have worked part-time in a retail shop for the last 11 years, so virtually the whole time that I've lived in Australia. I work for a South Australian company called Cheapest Chips, which works great with being a celebrant because I pick up all sorts of knickknacks for my job.
Yeah, terrific. And so you've sort of explained why the change, because in England they don't do what we do here. And I must say that I've been married and by a celebrant, and my children have all been named by a celebrant. I think that it's quite different, and there's none of that religious sort of thing attached to it, which a lot of people aren't into that anymore. So, or just in their belief systems. So I think that having a celebrant is a great opportunity for people not to be stuck into some sort of traditional thing, I guess. So when did you begin your business? When did you begin being a celebrant?
So I got my qualification from the Attorney General's office in June 2014, and my business went live on the 1st of July 2014. I waited for the new financial year. And so what challenges did you face and, starting up your business, and how did you overcome those? I think just like any person starting up a new business, it's time and money. So you've got to have the money behind you to start up the business, and you've got to have the time, but at the same time you've still got to go to work and earn the money until your business is earning its own money. And being a single mum at the time, I still had to pay the rent and pay the bills and to make sure my son got to school and all of that sort of stuff around trying to work part-time and run my own business at the same time. And celebrancy is weekend work, so a lot of my work is done at the weekends. So now it's trying to keep that life-work balance, making sure I have enough time to do the stuff that I like, as well as making sure that I'm doing enough of my work stuff to pay the bills and pay the rent.
Yeah, understand that. And do you use social media at all to promote your business?
I do. Don't think I'd have a business without social media.
Facebook is huge in the wedding industry, absolutely massive. And over 50% of my work comes through Facebook, I think. There's all sorts of forums and chit-chat groups and just places that brides can go to ask questions. And ex-brides and other wedding people that work in the wedding industry, we all recommend each other through that forum. And I get a lot of work that way. And I run a Facebook group for my business, and obviously I get referrals that way too. Yeah, I don't know if I'd have a business without Facebook, and if I did, it would certainly be very, very different to what it is now.
And do you use any other social media platforms like LinkedIn or Instagram?
I'm on LinkedIn, and I try to use Instagram.
Yeah. Do you outsource any of your social posting, or do you just prefer to do it yourself?
I don't yet, but it is something that's on the horizon to do in the very near future. It's when I get to this next level of earning for the business, then that's the next thing that I'm going to start outsourcing. So the first thing I outsourced was my bookkeeper, and then a social media guru is the next person on the list.
Yeah. And why would you recommend that someone would outsource when they reach a certain level in their business?
For me, it's the time, because the time that it takes me to do these posts and what needs to be done on social media, I can be using that time much, much better. And the person that I outsource it to, but when I eventually do, will be able to do what I need to be done in half the amount of time, if not less.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. So getting on to life in general, life can give us lemons quite often, and we can't always make lemonade out of it. How do you deal or have dealt with your lemon times?
Well, after I've allowed myself a little tantrum and some foot stamping and all that sort of thing, I'm pretty methodical. So I'll take the challenge or the problem, and I'll look at the different ways that I can solve it. But I do allow myself that moment of, what the first, just to get it out the way, get it out the system, and then go, okay, right, I've accepted that whatever it is, and let's look at how we can actually solve this problem.
Yeah. So do you use journaling at all, or do you just, sort it out in your head?
No, I'm not. I've tried to journal, and if anything, it's too time consuming for me because I get too into it. And I do so much writing in my business that journaling really doesn't work for me. It's not calming. It's not therapeutic. I do too much of it now for work.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. It's not journalist's not for everyone anyway. So, yeah.
I find social media groups, someone to go in there and just have a quick rant, or my personal groups, that is a lot more. A person-to-person therapy rather than journaling therapy works much better. And then I just look at the problem and go, okay, this is what we've got to solve. How do I solve it? And off we go.
Yeah. Okay. So as a busy woman as you are, how do you ground yourself and prevent yourself from becoming overwhelmed and find that time for your self-care?
I think nature. For me, it's getting out of the house. So to get out of the house means getting away from because I have my office at home and my business is mostly run out of my home. It's around me all the time. There's no getting away from it if I'm at home. So I walk. I walk with my dogs, I walk with my partner, and I live right on the beach, so either down to the beach or up into the hills, just to get away from things, leave the phone at home, or at least in the car, and just go walk, go camping, get completely away from it.
Yep. So
if I can't do that and I'm stuck at home, then it's a nose in the phone off, computer off, and nose in a book.
Yeah, you find book reading quite relaxing for you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I find book reading is the one home thing that I can do that I can totally lose myself in and shut everything else out.
Yeah, it's always as long as the book has a good ending, I think. I like ones with happy endings. Okay, so what advice would you have for someone starting out in business? So, because there are such challenges, what advice from your own experience would you give to a busy mum or someone else that's starting out in their business?
Research your market. So what I thought was my market when I started out has certainly shifted a little bit left to what it is now. But I did do a fair bit of research into, as I said before, celebrancy in Australia to me was like, wow, this is amazing that people can actually do this. What does this actually mean? Can I really marry anybody, any couple, anywhere in Australia, standing on the beach or standing on top of a mountain? And the more I got into, yes, I can do this. I really can do this. Just found it fascinating. So research was really, really important. But once I'd done a bit of research and I decided that that's what I was going to do, my next bit of advice would be don't over-research. Just once you've decided and you've found what works and what works for you, just do it. Because I think you can spend research time and time again, and a year down the line still be researching and not actually doing. And the only way you're ever really going to know if it's going to work is if you actually do it.
Yeah, makes sense. That makes a heap of sense. So what are your business plans for the future, Deb?
Just more of what I'm doing. In an ideal world, I would like to be being a celebrant to be a self-supporting business, but at the same time, there's part of me that doesn't want to give up the retail job because I really enjoy it. So my goal that I have set myself is 2 months off every year within the next 5 years, to be able to have 2 months in the winter where I can go and travel.
Yeah. It's part of your self-care, really, isn't it?
It's part of my self-care, and it's a goal that's written down, and it was part of the lure of celebrancy because it is a very seasonal job, and the winter months are a lot quieter than the other months. So November, December, January, February, March are my busy times, and the more work I pull in then, the less I have to do through the winter. So my ideal world is I do enough weddings through the busy months to then give myself time off in the quieter months to go and do stuff.
Would you perhaps think in the future of doing event planning for weddings as well as the celebrantry, being a celebrant?
Not event planning, no. I have seen what goes into event planning, and I don't want to borrow
it. That good, eh?
I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with those bridezillas.
I don't blame you.
No, not at all. What I am trying to expand into, what I've just started looking at. So last year, the end of last year, beginning of this year, the Attorney Generals have loosened their tight neck hold on us celebrants of what we can do as far as there's a big thing with celebrancy called conflict of interest, where we've never been able to have another job that they deem as a conflict of interest with being a celebrant.
Mm-hmm.
And they've loosened those rules very slightly. So I'm now advertising as a Master of Ceremonies as well. So I'm trying to get more into doing MC work. So not just for weddings, but doing it for functions and social clubs and all that sort of thing as well.
Oh, that's a great opportunity to even further the marriage celebrant side of your work as well.
Yes, yeah, the two go together very well because they're both about standing up the front and speaking. It's just always been that we haven't been allowed to do anything like that before.
Oh, okay, that sounds very interesting. Okay, and so obviously, your events really are just your marriages or things that you do as part of your role. But do you have any offers that you could share with us?
Yeah, well, I'm quite happy to offer anybody that mentions your name and comes to me via this link quite happy to offer a 10% off any ceremony that they happen to book. or would like to book. I also offer any couple a free, no obligation face-to-face chat, and I'm always happy to talk over Facebook and social media and on MSN or anything like, or over the phone. Anybody that's got any questions that they have regarding getting married in Australia or something that they're just not sure of, whether they've booked another celebrant or not. I think part of our role as celebrants is to educate people and help them regardless of whether they're going to book us or not. So,
all right. Well, I'll put a link to your Facebook page on the video when I do all the pretty things to it, and
yep.
and make it suitable for viewing for in the group and on my page, and of course you'll receive a copy of this as well. So, but Deb, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to speak with me today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for asking me.
And we'll chat soon. And thanks again. All right, thanks, Deb. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening. I really do appreciate your time. I look forward to sharing the next episode with you very soon. Bye for now.